welcome to episode 29 of Spanish Answers. So today's episode is all about, as promised, Valentine's Day in Latin America. So if you'd like more information about how it's celebrated specifically in Mexico or in Spain, please check out episode 4 of Spanish Answers where we did that Valentine's Day special on those. But today's Valentine's special is all about Latin America. So let's go ahead and get started. So what's in a name? There are multiple names that can be used throughout Latin America when talking about Valentine's Day. So in Mexico and Puerto Rico, they say El Día de San Valentín. El Día de San Valentín. However, in Mexico, it's more common for it to be called El Día del Amor y la Amistad. El Día del Amor y la Amistad. And this is also the term you'll hear in Colombia, Ecuador, the Dominican Republic, Bolivia, and Puerto Rico. You'll also hear Día de los Enamorados, Día de los Enamorados. So that's Bolivia, Ecuador, Argentina, and Chile. Now, obviously, let's talk a little bit about some of the translations. El Día de San Valentín is Saint Valentine's Day, right? Día del Amor y la Amistad, that's Day of Love and Friendship. So this day is really not just about your beloved, like it is in the U.S., but it's also about friendship. El Día de los Enamorados is Day of the Enamored, or Day of the Lovers, right? Those who are in love. And then in Guatemala, they say Día del Cariño, Día del Cariño. And then in Brazil, bonus country, since technically they speak Portuguese mostly there. Anyways, in Brazil, Día dos Namorados, Día dos Namorados. And this day is kind of celebrated in honor of Saint Anthony. He's the patron saint of marriage and matchmaking. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But finally, we have Día de Amor, or Day of Love, and that's Bolivia. Kind of like that. Short and sweet. So what's in a date? Not all of these countries actually celebrate Valentine's Day on the 14th of February. So Bolivia, for example, celebrates Día de Amor on September 21st, but then they also celebrate Día del Amor y la Amistad on July 23rd. So they actually get 2 days to celebrate, which is pretty sweet. Día de Amor also happens on Students' Day, Children's Day, and the Day of Spring. So there's just all sorts of celebrating going on. Colombia celebrates their Valentine's Day on September 20th, and Brazil celebrates theirs on June 12th. So what are some fun traditions that these different countries have? Well, there's the giving of orchids instead of roses, and that happens in Peru and Colombia. Then Peru also celebrates their Carnival at the same time, so you can only imagine how festive that country is around their Valentine's Day. Then there's a lot of countries like the Dominican Republic and El Salvador that play a game called Angelito, and it's kind of like Secret Santa or Amigo Secreto. So basically you pick a random name and whoever you get is the person that you give a gift to, and they're your Amigo Secreto, or your little Angelito, little angel. So that's a really cute thing to do, right? Kind of takes some of the, I guess, the romantic tension away if you just want to have an innocent, fun day and not worry about who's giving gifts to whom. Then you've got a senior citizens parade in Guatemala. Now, I was only able to find a reference to that in one website, so take that one with a grain of salt. I couldn't find any videos on YouTube, things like that, but apparently there's a parade and people dress up and it's fun. But moving on, there is the serenade at nightfall. So in Ecuador, the men will serenade their ladies outside of their homes once it's nightfall. So that's really romantic. Then in Puerto Rico, because it's more of a focus on, you know, your family, your friends, and your special someone, Puerto Rico will have big parties. So this could be kind of a public party, or it could just be for your large family to come and celebrate. But it's not just a day where you go out to dinner with your significant other, right? It's a day where you actually might celebrate with a lot of people. So that's interesting. And then in Argentina, they actually will do an exchange of kisses for candy. So One thing to know about Argentina is that they also celebrate, so it's not the same as Valentine's Day, but they also celebrate this week called Semana de la Dulzura, and it's from July 1st to July 7th, and it was, according to the website I found, invented by a sweet manufacturer, one of the larger ones in Argentina, Arcor, and the Association of Candy Distributors. So I've put 2 YouTube links about this week in the show notes. One is an ad. Honestly, the candy company did a great job on advertising. It's kind of entertaining. But during this week, the hypothetical rule is that you would give someone a candy in exchange for a kiss. So it's a very interesting holiday. I'd never heard of it before this, so I had to put it in here. And then in Brazil, during their Valentine's Day, the women will perform simpatias. So it's kind of, based on what I read, it's a little bit like that children's game, if you ever played it. If you are a girl, you may have. If you're a guy, probably not, but maybe you did. It's called MASH. So not the TV series, don't mix it up with that, but basically the idea was that you would give like 3 options for your husband, and 3 options for how many kids you would have, and 3 options for, I don't know, what state you would live in, and so on and so forth. And then you kind of do this game to see, okay, well, you cross out all of them, and then basically at the end of the game, you have only one category left out, or sorry, only one option in each category left, and that is hypothetically what your future holds for you. So total nonsense, but a lot of fun. Anyways, these simpatias is where they will write names of potential boyfriends or husbands, and they'll put them on a piece of paper the night before, and then the next day they choose one randomly, and that's like the person that they'll pursue, or who will be their significant other. So not quite as complex as MASH, but just as, I would assume, just as fun for them as it is for us. Maybe they take it more seriously, I don't know. But it did remind me of MASH. So that is all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this brief synopsis on the different traditions for Valentine's Day in Latin America. If you have questions or topics that you'd like me to discuss, please send them to me at contact@languageanswers.com. Again, that's contact@languageanswers.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, if you would like to review episode 4, that is where last year we went kind of into a deeper dive into how Valentine's Day is celebrated specifically in Mexico and Spain. Now, if you did enjoy this episode, please leave me a positive review. It really helps me to know if this is helping you or if you are enjoying it, things like that. Also, if you never want to miss another episode, please subscribe either on YouTube or Transistor, SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes, all of those. And this episode is produced by Language Answers Limited at www.languageanswers.com. I am a translator, podcaster, and editor. One thing to keep in mind that I forgot to mention is that most of these countries, if not all, do celebrate Valentine's Day in what we would consider the traditional way, right? Where you're giving gifts of candy or gifts of flowers or going out to dinner, things like that. So the fun traditions are kind of just a way to show, some things that are different, because with this holiday, when I was researching it, it really is hard to find a lot of differences throughout the world and how people celebrate Valentine's Day. It seems to have really stayed pretty consistent in how people celebrate it. So there are differences, and I tried to highlight those, but just so you're aware, there are a lot of similarities as well. Well, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about this special day around the world, or I guess a more specific part of the world. Anyways, I have put all of my resources, all of the places that I did the research, so that you can double check me on this, because again, this is not coming from personal experience, this is coming from research. So I put all of those resources into the show notes so that you can look at those as well. Go to the websites, look at I think there was one ebook, all of that. All right, well, I will see you in 2 weeks. So I hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks, and we'll see you later. All right, hasta luego.